Let's get into it. Coach Colin news here. There was a disgusting display in Michigan recently, a very anti-American display. And because of this display, it has caused wild things to happen, where Matt Walsh, hardcore Christian conservative, and Bill Maher actually agree on something. And also, I agree with Bill Maher. It doesn't happen often. This is like a second eclipse happening right now. We're also going to hear from Patrick Bet-David and his people. Everybody has to agree with the sentiments that are expressed in this video. And you don't have to, but more than likely you're going to. If you're from America and you hear what this person has to say, you're more than likely going to agree with everything you hear in this video. So I'm going to be showing you 3 clips. It's going to be this disgusting display. Then there's going to be some stuff from Matt Walsh, then Bill Maher and Patrick Bet-David's people as well. And then I'm going to show you the law that Trump is going to enact that's supposed to be for his mass deportation. It actually applies to people like this as well, illegal or not, shockingly enough. Let's get right into it. Let's start with this one.
National Day of Quds. Why are they so anti-America? Why don't we just focus more on Israel and not talk so much about America? Gaza has shown the entire world why these protests are so anti-America. Because it's the United States government that provides the funds for all of the atrocities that we just heard about. And this is why Imam Khomeini, who declared the International Day of Quds, this is why he would say to pour all of your chants and all of your shouts upon the head of America. Malcolm X said, and I quote, "We live in one of the rottenest countries that has ever existed on this earth." It's not Genocide Joe that has to go. It's the entire system that has to go. Any system that would allow such atrocities and such devilry to happen and would support it, such a system does not deserve to exist on God's earth. And so when these fools ask us if Israel has the right to exist,
man, let's keep going. There's more to it. I found more of it on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. Let's listen to the rest.
Israel has the right to exist. The chant "Death to Israel" has become the most logical chant shouted across the world today.
Seriously? Who is this guy? Do you know who this guy is?
I have no idea who he is.
Imam Khomeini recognized. Okay, Rob, let me see what he says about Khomeini. Imam Khomeini recognized that Israel is an evil settler. Can you play it?
Recognize that Israel is an evil settler colonialist project. He realized it is a cancer, and he established this day. Israel, before this, brothers and sisters, was a sacred cow. Nobody.
So the other gentleman is stopped. This guy starts ranting about Israel. Let's hear what Patrick Bet-David's people think about this right now.
You guys will have the same sentiment. I am sick and tired of Americans shitting on America. I'm done. I'll start low, from athletes kneeling during the national anthem, staying in their locker room, not even coming out, to actors saying, and artists, if this doesn't happen, I'm going to leave this country. And now Muslim Americans in Dearborn, Michigan, chanting "Death to America." Okay, first of all, I think there should be a law. If you utter some stupid shit like that, you lose whoever's in the crowd, PBD, loses their citizenship, and you go back to whatever fucking country that you come from. Number one, death to America? Really? Have we not learned our lesson? When people like that, like an extremist, says some shit like that, what do you think happens next with that type of dialogue, okay? And I believe in freedom of speech, but saying that should be a terroristic threat and taken seriously. Because, and by the way, I would say I hope the FBI finds out who are those people in there chanting "Death to America," but guess what? The FBI doesn't have time to do that, Tom. They're going after grandmothers who were outside the Capitol building on January 6th. Enough is enough.
Or a pastor that says something, you know, and they say, oh, that's hate speech. This isn't hate speech?
Oh, no, 100, for sure. And it's like, bro, when is enough going to be enough? The FBI, they're going after watch list terror, putting parents that go to school board meetings. This shit drives me crazy.
Kicking down doors.
Yeah, if the FBI isn't there, PBD, getting the names of all these assholes that were saying death to America, we're
what are your
fucked.
thoughts?
Sorry.
Well, look.
Man, and you guys know I don't want to hear from Adam. Although Adam does agree with Vinny in this whole thing. He agrees with Bill Maher. They all agree. It's a wonderful thing to see. But over such grimy circumstances. The fact that this guy, his name's actually Tariq Baza, I believe his name is. I believe it's pronounced Baza or Bazi. The fact that he is saying, first of all, the chants that you're hearing, they're saying death to America, death to Israel, right? But they're talking about being anti-American. The fact that he can do that and then go back to his house or apartment in America and kick up his feet and watch Netflix is insane to me. No bank account frozen like the truckers did to not just Canadians. They did it to Americans too. Not a lot, but they did it to some. No bank accounts frozen. No lengthy jail sentences for what he just said. No being put on watch lists as domestic terrorists. None of that. The fact that he just gets to go home and it's completely fine what he just said is so crazy. And, you know, this guy, Vinny, the guy that you just heard, his name's Vinny, he's right. They should be registered as terrorists. They just said they're anti-America and that the whole system has to go. What does that mean? What else could that mean? Does it mean he's going to run for office and he's going to change things from the inside? It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like that's what he was prepared to do. And he's so right that they're focusing on these grandmothers who were just outside the Capitol. 17 years for this person who got guided into the Capitol. 6 years, 8 years, these lengthy sentences. But we've heard nothing on this so far. And I've waited a little bit just to see what happens with these guys. I didn't just jump on this story as soon as it came out. I wanted to see. I'm like, are they going to get arrested or something? You would think. So next we're going to hear from, let's go, Bill Maher. Bill Maher is talking about this subject. Let's go.
Okay, so that's where we are. Now can I talk about American propaganda? Because there was a rally in Dearborn, Michigan. It's a large Muslim population. Chant of death to America. I feel like we've passed something here. You know, I mean, the left has gotten mad at me for many years for talking about Islam. I try not to do it too much because I know it makes them go crazy, and I've made my point. But it needs to be talked about now. When you start chanting death to America in America, I mean, I got it, Charlottesville was real bad when they were chanting death to the, what was it, Jews will not replace us. But on American soil, here's the Tariq Bazi is the organizer of this. This was at the end of Ramadan, International Day of Quds, Al-Quds, which was pronounced originally by, he said, this is why Imam Khomeini, that's the Ayatollah Khomeini. Remember him, yep. The Ayatollah Khomeini? He's the good guy now. Khomeini, he would say to pour all your chants and all of your shouts upon the head of America. Yeah, I heard this before. Not coming from America, but the great chastisement. We will chastise the infidels. But now it's coming from inside America. Sorry, got to talk about this again. He said, we live in one of the rottenest countries that ever existed on earth. It's not just genocide, Joe, that has to go. It's the entire system that has to go. No, it doesn't. I like our system. This is America, for crying out loud.
Well, what about...
And there are people who see me say this, oh, he's a conservative now. I'm a conservative. I have not changed. I always liked America and thought death to it was bad.
Well, how about...
Man, Bill Maher. I actually agree with Bill Maher. Somebody, the first guy that you just saw, Vinny, who's on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, he is a hardcore Trump supporter. I mean hardcore New Yorker, straight Trump supporter. Then you're hearing you're going to be hearing Matt Walsh, who's just a conservative, clean-cut Christian who just, keeps everything very, very polished in a sense when he talks. And Bill Maher, all of them connecting on this one thing. And honestly, sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes that's what it takes. Hearing these type of chants in Michigan, of all places. In Michigan. I'm still shocked that it was Michigan that had this type of thing going on. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And again, what is going to be the punishment for this type of thing? Well, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but if Trump gets into office, there is actually going to be a punishment. And I'll show you what it is. Let's get into Matt Walsh first, though.
The chant, and if you're just listening to the audio podcast, you may not have picked up on that, but the chant that you heard from the crowd, that was them chanting "Death to America," while the speaker talks about very explicitly why he is anti-American and why our system does not deserve to exist on God's earth. Now, I'm going to try to give these people the thoughtful, well-considered, polite response that they deserve, and as you would expect me to give, which is why I will say to them, shut up, you ungrateful, disgusting brats, and get the hell out of our country. You don't deserve to be here. Get the hell out. We don't want you here. You don't deserve to be here. You don't deserve to live here. Any foreigner who comes here and then calls for the destruction of our country, foreigners who come here and declare themselves to be explicitly anti-American should be deported immediately, no questions asked. It should be automatic. Like the buses should be rolling up at that protest. Put everybody on the bus. You're gone, and that's it. We'll send you. We won't even stop so you can pick up your stuff from your house. Well, we'll ship it to you at some point, or just throw it away. Probably more likely. You don't deserve to be here. We don't want you. You apparently don't want to be here. So we have mutual interests now, right? Our opinions align on this point. So you despise America. We despise you as a foreigner who despises America. A foreigner who comes here and despises America, I despise you for that. And you despise me, so leave. Pretty simple. Which, by the way, is exactly what any non-Western country would do. It's how any non-Western country would handle this. Basically, any of the countries where these people originate, that's how they would handle it. Like, what happens, let's consider, what happens if I move to the Middle East, to an Arab country, and then I get up at a podium and call for the death of that country? What happens if I stand up and I say I am anti that country? I'm calling for the death of that country. How long do I last? And that's not deportation, okay? They're not going to just send me back to America. I would be thrilled if that was the response, right? I would be lucky. I would be so lucky if that's all they did. Rather, I think I would not be deported from the country. I would be deported from Earth. Via a hole in the ground, which is not even marked by a tombstone. So when I say that these people should be deported, that's me being very nice. That's me calling for leniency, in fact. That is generosity and compassion. Because you could certainly make an argument that calling for death to America is, you can make an argument for treating anyone who says that as a traitor and giving them the punishment prescribed for that crime. You could make that argument.
I really think you could make that argument. You really could. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think they should be deported? Do you think these people should be branded as treasonous? Because these are Americans, for the most part, right? They're Americans. If not Americans, American citizens. After they've gone through the checks and balances and all the steps. But this is what they're calling for. They're calling for death to America on American soil. And again, going home and watching Netflix, messaging their friends, scrolling on Instagram, hopping on Tinder, hoping to find a date with some girl who's more than likely American, probably white, which I got no problem with. That's what I did, But then at the same time, you have a problem with the whole system. Not even realizing as they're talking about the system that they're benefiting from the system. Maybe they do realize it. I don't know. A lot of the ways that these organizations trying to raise awareness to what's going on, a lot of them know exactly what they're doing. And again, I bring it up all the time, but a lot of them know about Saul Alinsky. Maybe this gentleman does, maybe he doesn't, but most community organizers know about that gentleman. They know about his teachings and they use it. For him to be sitting there saying that the whole system needs to go. Let's get into it's so crazy to me that that's even allowed. Like how? Like, isn't that, again, I think it said in one of the clips, isn't that hate speech? Doesn't that go under the grounds of hate speech? If hate speech is this thing that we all have to watch over. Okay, so you can, for now, you can push aside black, you can push aside LGBTQ in terms of the people who need to be protected the most. What about every single person? They just went at every single person in the nation. Shouldn't that be given some kind of attention? And then on top of that, the guy uses this Tariq Bazi. He uses Malcolm X and talks about how Malcolm X said they live in the most rotten country. I've been looking for that quote. I've been going to pages with 100 quotes, this, that. I can't find not one quote where he says anything about a rotten country. Malcolm X was smart enough to focus on the individuals that he had issues with or that he felt were issues. But again, that's what these organizers do. You know, and I know, I'm just going to say it outright, the guy's like a Marxist. To be doing stuff like this is from the Marxist handbook. This is exactly from that handbook. The whole system needs to go. Join us, guys. We're all so oppressed, and it's the entire system that needs to go. And be replaced with what? The system that you ran away from? Or your parents ran away from? What? What are you thinking? What do you think should be happening? Now, this is words from President Trump. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act, which most people have never heard of, to remove all known suspected gang members, drug dealers, or cartel members from the United States, ending the scourge of illegal alien gang violence forever. Now, this law, he mentioned cartel members, gang members, drug dealers, you know, people like that, but it also touches on people who have ideologies of Marxism or anti-American ideologies. It actually focuses on those people as well. It's a very old law and it hasn't been used in quite some time, but he plans to invoke it. And that's how he's going to accomplish a lot of this mass deportation that he's been talking about. The Alien Enemy Act is part of the Aliens and Sedation Acts approved in 1798. It was used in World War II by President Franklin Roosevelt to observe and detain Japanese, German, and Italian nationals, according to NBC. So this is something that Trump actually plans on doing. It's not just illegal aliens. It's also going to be people who have these ideologies that are just anti-American. Trump actually says, I hope I can find it. He actually says right here. Oh yeah, there it is. Perfect. Let me just show you guys this. I will also use the existing federal law to detain all communists and Marxists to the United States. So he's going to, deny entry to all communists and Marxists in the United States. Those who join our country must love our country. And we are going to keep foreign, Christian-hating communists, Marxists, and socialists the hell out of America. Oh, man. I'm telling you, man, a lot of people keep talking about, not statesmanly enough. You don't need somebody who's clean cut and polished and smooth. You need somebody who's just straight up. That's the best way to be, because when you're just straight up, the politicians understand, the people understand, and you just get to you have a clear action that you're just gonna do. I think it's great. And of course, I'm biased. I got my Trump shirts over there. I got Trump videos all the time. So obviously I'm very biased, but I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is a treasonous act? Do you think this is worthy of deportation? And do you think anybody who's criticizing this can be branded as Islamophobic? Because we've seen this song and dance before. It's always a group. As soon as you say anything, you're racist, you're Islamophobic, you're xenophobic, you're this, that. And should these people be registered, or at least that one gentleman saying it, be registered as a terrorist? I mean, there was a crowd of people in Michigan screaming death to America. Shouldn't there be some kind of action? I don't get it. You know, in the case of J6, they said that there were people in the crowd who were branded as domestic terrorists. And these are just white, more than likely Christian men who were arriving here. And the reason that there were federal agents is because those federal agents were watching those people. And that's why they can't tell us how many, because they say there was about 19 people who were domestic terrorists in that crowd. So you'd think it would be at least one agent per domestic terrorist. You think that's how they would do it. But if those guys who were in that crowd are domestic terrorists, how is this not domestic terrorism? I don't get it. At least in J6, people were shouting about preserving the country. And they were just questioning something that happened. This guy, this Tariq Bazi, whatever his name is, Tariq Bazi, this guy's screaming death to America. And it's under the guise of, oh, you know, it's just because it's so anti-Israel. Oh, we just don't like Israel. That's all it is. Don't worry. That's just like a disguise for this, in my opinion. You're making it seem like you just hate Israel. But in reality, you seem to hate America too. You're screaming death to America. This has nothing to do. Like, people keep showing this as an anti-Israel protest. This was an anti-American protest. 100%. He said the whole system has to go. He's not talking about Israel when he says that. Stuff like that really gets to me, man. Let me know what you guys think should be happening to those gentlemen. Treason, deportation, or what they're doing right now, which is just being at home, eating potato chips, watching sports, commenting on LeBron James, who's the best, Michael Jordan or Kobe. They're just living the American experience while completely thinking that it should go. And then again, what do you think should be in its place? Sharia law? Is that what you're thinking? Absolutely crazy. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, and I'm out.